A lot of coaches hear the phrase sales funnel and they immediately feel a little icky. I know the first time I heard that phrase when I was starting my coaching practice, I thought of like a car salesman. I don't want you to think of that. I want to reframe it for you today. I'm Jessica. I'm a 7-figure academic coach, and I've been building my coaching practice for the past decade. And today I'm going to share with you the strategies to move clients through the 5 stages of a sales funnel. This isn't about manipulation or pressure. This is about fully understanding how a client is showing up emotionally in each of these stages. Let's go through them. The very first stage is the awareness stage. This is simply when someone finds out that you exist. Maybe they read a blog post. Maybe they saw a social media interaction, like a video. Maybe they heard about you on a podcast. At this stage, they're not ready to buy. They're simply thinking, I see this person and they get me. And your only job in this stage is just to be visible and clear and really specific about who you want to help. You don't need to convince them. You just need to be findable and recognizable. The second stage is the interest stage. Now that this person, this potential coaching client, knows you exist, now they're leaning in a little more. They're going onto your website. They're joining your mailing list. Maybe they're downloading some free resources on your blog. This is where they start to really understand not just who you are, but your approach. They're kind of thinking to themselves, like, do I like this person? Do they get me? Do I feel comfortable here? And at this stage, all you need to do is just provide simple, honest, and clear messaging so that they can make good decisions. These aren't like clever tactics. It's just clarity so you can build trust during this interest stage. And then once they're interested, they're going to go on to stage 3. There's going to be some sort of decision that is made, which is why we call this the decision stage. This is the stage that I think most coaches completely underestimate. They kind of go straight from interest to action, but there's an important stage in the middle, so pay attention here. And oftentimes in this stage, it's harder to notice because you're not necessarily getting any direct communication or interactions from the potential client. They're just having these like internal monologues. They're wondering to themselves, like, is this person right for me? Do they understand me? Can I trust them? And what helps when someone's in this stage is not to put pressure on them. You need to just have a clear offer, really straightforward, simple pricing. Providing client testimonials and real stories is also great for this stage because they are soon to be ready for the action stage. Ultimately, your job in the decision stage is to reduce uncertainty. The goal is not to provide pressure or urgency. It's just reducing complexity and helping them see the simple, valuable transformation that you can provide. And then once they are out of that decision stage, they are moving on to stage 4, which is what we call the action stage. This is when someone actually takes the leap. They book a discovery call with you. They purchase a package. Maybe they go ahead and commit to working together in this stage. When your systems are smooth and intuitive, that onboarding process, they are going to feel more natural and grounded. When you provide really complicated pricing packages, overly complex messaging around how the coaching relationship will work, it can be confusing and clunky and overly complicated. And this is when clients can sometimes lose their motivation and start to second guess their decision. And we don't want that to happen. You need to have good systems that support confident decisions. Let me just give you a quick example of this. Imagine you have a Zoom meeting and you have a free Zoom account. And you're having this great discovery call and you run over and the call gets cut off. Well, that's embarrassing. You need to have a paid Zoom account to support longer sessions. But let's say they forgive you and you get past that embarrassing moment where your Zoom account gets cut off. Well, then maybe you send them an email to a link to a document that they need to download and then print and then sign with a wet signature and then scan it and send it back to you. That is a nightmare. Don't ask anyone to fax anything. You need to get an online document signing platform. These are all points of friction in the process that can make someone start to second guess their decision to start working with you. And so those are the smooth systems that facilitate this action stage that prepare someone to stay with you, which is the next stage. The final stage that I'll touch on is the retention stage. Because it's not good enough to just land a client. You need to nurture them and make sure that you can sustain that coaching relationship that you have with them. Retention is about ongoing care, really thoughtful, authentic communication, and making the clients feel supported beyond just the session itself. Clients who feel genuinely held are more likely to not just stay longer, but also refer others to you. And quite frankly, that's the best compliment you can get as a coach is a referral. So you should certainly have a system in place to thank people for referrals. I often give a free session away whenever I get a referral from a client. I think when you understand these 5 stages, selling can start to feel more human and less gimmicky or slimy, which is what I used to think of sales when I got started. But the reality is when you're a coach, you are also a business owner, and sales is everything. Everything is a sales experience, whether you think of it that way or not. But I want you to rethink of this as like you're not pressuring people. There's no urgency. This isn't a car lot. We're not selling used cars here. You are simply meeting people where they are. You're being clear in your messaging. You're genuine. You're authentic. And you're not pushy. You let people come when they're ready, because a client who's ready is going to be a good client. They're going to be an ideal client. You don't want someone who's not ready for that commitment. It's just not going to be a success story for you or them. And so you want to reserve your time for people who are actually ready for the transformation you're going to provide. I hope you found these tips helpful. Please subscribe to this channel for more. And then, of course, if you are a coach and you're looking for a practice management platform, Zoe is it. It's an all-in-one coaching platform. You no longer need a subscription to Zoom, Calendly, an email account. Everything is all in one, even a website. Zoe can build your website for you. It's really simple. You can run your entire coaching practice on it.